In today's largest construction sites and quarries, huge mega machines are used to dig, cut, and lift stone. These man-made creatures dwarf their creators and perform the work of thousands of men using modern hydraulic technologies. Without such equipment, builders could never construct modern skyscrapers. Yet thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations were accomplishing the same work while constructing their monuments and temples using massive stones. These enormous blocks, many weighing in excess of 100 tons, would be a challenge even for today's engineers. Yet thousands of years ago, people cut them out of solid rock, transported them for miles, and then lifted them precisely into place. But how? Did they cut these massive stone blocks with hammers, chisels, and copper wire, as mainstream archaeologists suggest? Could they have lifted and transported them without a pulley system or the wheel? Or did ancient civilizations possess advanced technologies that have since been lost to science?
At Giza, you just don't have the pyramids. Linked to the pyramids are what Egyptologists call valley temples. It doesn't take a rocket engineer that when you go there, there's something not quite right here. Whereas the pyramids are built with blocks of 2 to 3 tons, these temples, which are minute compared to the pyramids, are built with blocks of 100 tons, and some of them 200 tons. Now, let me tell you what a 100-ton block is. If you take 100 family cars and you squeeze them together, you get one of these blocks. First of all, let alone how they move these blocks, is why would they want to use 100-ton blocks? It simply doesn't make sense.
There's no reason for them to want to build out of granite blocks the size of a semi-truck. It's like, okay, let's do something, but let's do it as difficult as we could possibly do it.
The reason why I am convinced that sophisticated technology was utilized in these ancient rocks is because if we go to a stone quarry today and look at the scope of machinery required to accomplish similar things, those machines are huge.
Subscribers to Ancient Alien Theory do not believe extraterrestrials built these amazing monuments, but instead provided some type of technological know-how or tools to our ancestors. Engineering expert Chris Dunn has spent several decades researching the construction tools used by the ancient Egyptians.
We're normally taught by Egyptologists that the ancient Egyptians had simple tools. They went to work every day using stone balls, copper chisels, a copper tube and sand to grind holes in diorite and granite, extremely hard rock. From what I have actually gathered over the years is information that seems to actually argue against that notion that they had simple tools.
In Egypt, Dunn was able to examine ancient sites firsthand. What he found has proved to be both revolutionary and controversial.
If you look at the Giza Plateau and all the stones that they actually placed in the Great Pyramid and Khafre's Pyramid and Menkaura's Pyramid, 2.5 million blocks of stone in the Great Pyramid alone. They had to have had some efficient means of cutting them to size and putting them into place. They had to have had somebody on site who's saying, okay, I need a block this size, and then getting a block to them that size, stat, like immediately.
While searching several miles north of Giza at Abu Ruwash, Dunn stumbled upon a clue when he spotted a granite block containing a deep cut.
When I first saw it, I just didn't know what to make of it. And it was only after puzzling over it for days, and sometimes waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, scratching my head and thinking, well, how did they make this cut? And finally to realize that The only way that they could have actually cut that thing was with a saw that was 35 feet in diameter.
The idea that ancient Egyptians used giant saws provoked much resistance from mainstream archaeologists. Dunn, however, was convinced.
As an ex-machinist, I look for tool marks. I look for them everywhere I go. And I could be accused of, well, you know, if you're going to look for something, you're probably going to find it because you're looking at it through a certain filter. Accepted, I agree. But the question is, why is it there? Clearly, to me, that is a machine mark. But there were no machines back then. So what do? I just go looking for more machine marks, and they're all over the place. You find them on statues, you'll find them particularly in the Luxor Museum. There seems to be an impression on the side of Amun's buttock where it meets the bench, where there is an undercut. It was the slip of a tool, and therefore it must have been a tool that was quite efficient.
Dunn also believes that the large depressions in the ground at Giza are not boat pits, as is claimed by mainstream archaeologists, but were actually used to hold the 35-foot saws.
I speculate that they were actually saw pits. The saws were mounted in these pits, and that they ran the blocks through the saws before they put them in the Great Pyramid.